Okay, the stream is live. Well, we're a couple minutes early. Should be getting Greg on here, I do believe. But I guess for those of you that are tuning in already, welcome to another edition of Down and Dirty. We got the Funk Boys up here tonight. Funk Brothers, back-to-back winners for the Badger State Tractor Pullers for 22 and 23 with two different trucks. So introduce yourselves so everybody can tell who's who.
I'm Corey.
I'm Ryan.
I usually drive the white truck, and Ryan drives the gold one.
You guys ever switch throughout the summer at all, or no?
No, we didn't this year. Corey's actually never drove the gold one, so at some point we've been talking about that we got to switch. But then when they got hot, we didn't want to mess it up. So
You keep a good thing going. You don't want to wreck it. That's for sure.
we let Dad drive the white one once this year.
Did he drive it?
Yeah, he drove it at Sandwich, Illinois. They have that one NTPA hook for our class there, and we put the driving suit for that day.
Awesome. How'd it go? Did it go good for him?
Good.
Yeah, I think he ended up third. He made it down the track, didn't wreck anything, so I guess we'll call that a win.
It's a win. You can load it up and bring it home, and that's a win. That's for sure.
I think he pulled out of the throttle a little early at the end, though. The truck was starting to bounce a little bit, and he got nervous that we were going to give him crap for breaking something, and I think he only needed one more inch to get second.
That extra bounce would have got him there. Kind of do that towards the end of the run, though, too. You notice that as the weight really comes on, and everybody's truck, just getting towards the end of that pass, they do get rough towards the end of it. And for you guys, it seems worse in the truck than what it looks like for us outside. Is that fair?
Well, I don't know. I guess at this point, I've kind of gotten used to it in the truck where it's done it enough times where I don't notice it that much. But
Yeah, the gold one doesn't bounce as much, so it seems like I notice a little bit more when it does do it. But
Well, it's definitely, you guys getting back-to-back wins. It's not, not a surprise to anyone. You guys, you build your own motors and you work hard on stuff, but two totally different trucks, two totally different, setups, probably close gearing wise and whatnot, but I'm just assuming, but I mean, two totally different chassis, and to get them to both figured out and work together, that's tough in itself.
yeah, they're getting closer and closer to the same program that we redid the motor in the gold one last winter and got them a lot closer. And it's still an OEM block in it. It doesn't have the built block yet, but very similar heads and same injectors. So they're getting closer and closer. Similar pistons.
Nice, that way you can use parts from either or too, so that helps out. Push comes to shove.
yeah, that's definitely helpful that we've been trying to convert as much stuff as possible to that so we can carry one set of spare parts that can go in either truck. Even little stuff like last winter, we changed the rear wheels on the white truck that from back when that was a 3-inch truck. It used to have the setup where you could run duals, and then we had wide 5 rims that we ran the cut tires on it, and we couldn't interchange the tires back and forth because we had the wide 5 pattern versus that Rockwell 6 slug. So we switched all that stuff over last winter to get even basic common parts like that to work.
That's nice. Then you can switch, or if you have trouble with tire, or one bad tire, you can swap that set out quick between runs or something if you had to. You guys are hard on tires as it is, and you guys really tear things up in the track. Do you guys have a extra set for both trucks, or extra set between the trucks, or playing around with some tires?
We have a shared set currently between the two of them, and then hopefully we have enough time.
Well, hello, Mr. Elsing. How are you?
Good. Hey, I've got it on my TV like you showed me, John.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's working weird, but we got it there.
Now you got to play that forward.
Yep.
Perfect.
There we go. Learn something every day, right? It's a success.
Right. Always a success.
Yep.
Got it on a speaker system or something? Because there's like feedback.
Probably.
Do you guys share a set? Speaking of tires, so with the tires and the tire program with the trucks, so who helps you guys out with your tires? Who cuts them and gets you set up?
We take them up to Mark Court up there in Beaver Dam. That he's pretty close to us, only about 40-minute drive. So he's always done a good job for us, and we've always been happy with what he does.
That looks like Dubuque.
Yep, looks like Dubuque.
That's a good run. That was a tricky track for everybody, but worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I think we maybe got a little bit lucky there. The track was definitely a tricky one. It was hard to get the thing moving out of the hole. It was real wet that day. That they had gotten a lot of rain there, and Ryan had a real good pass, and then I ended up coming later in the class, and I actually didn't even think I was going to get it out of the hole. It almost came under the charger, and just barely came back to life, and that's exactly what it needed. So.
That's the thing, and announcing wise, watching you guys drive, the guys that drive trucks have to have a lot of finesse and a lot of patience, because as you guys, the pro stock class making, more power than you got tire, basically, just like the pro stock tractors, you got to ride it out a little ways, get the clutch out, get that, get the RPM built, get the boost built, get it rolling, and then once it clutches out, hooks, and then you guys get after it. You can lock it in then, but you got to get the weight coming on, so it's got to be what, 50 or 100 foot before you're wide open, isn't it?
Yeah, most of the time you're waiting until that 75 to 100 foot mark before you give it beans, unless it's a pretty good track, good hard track. The trucks seem to like a little bit harder track, and then you can get after it a little bit sooner.
Sometimes our problem is if you get after it too soon and the tires light up, if they're going too much faster than the track speed, that's when you get a bad bounce rolling. So you gotta kind of try to get the truck moving before you get the tires spinning too hard.
Also seems too some of the times that you guys, if you're running like a faster gear, that it's harder as well too, because it'll get the bounce a little sooner.
Yeah, definitely. The tire mile an hour will sky real quickly that way.
Somebody was excited there.
Yeah. Was that Beaver Dam?
That was Darlington.
Darlington.
Yeah, that was actually a winning pass that night. Got a little bit lucky there. I had the first draw out of the gate, first vehicle down the track actually. Even that night we were first class and first draw, and it was packed in pretty nice. And then it fell apart a little bit for the others as the class went on, but so got a little bit lucky there.
Yeah, it was a good day for the gold truck. Unfortunately, that's the one hook we missed with the white truck this year. So,
was it broke there?
we actually broke it the night before. We had back-to-back hooks. We had Baraboo the night before, and then the next day. And Baraboo ended up getting rained out, I think, 2 trucks after I ran, and it broke the cam gear off the front of the cam at Baraboo then, and couldn't get it back together in time for Darlington the next day. So,
Ouch. And for those who don't know, you guys do all your own motor work and machining.
yep.
you guys machine all your own stuff for your motor? I was going to ask you that. I didn't know if I'd missed something coming in late or not, but you guys do all your own work?
Yeah, we do our own cylinder head work and all that stuff. The pistons we'll order, but we'll make drawings and order them in the way we want them. Sometimes
What do you
we modify stuff, play with it, and
there's some pretty cool programs out there
What was
to
that?
do that. There's some pretty cool programs out there to do that stuff with, to pick what piston design you might want to put in your motor, and then sometimes it'll, some programs will tell you how it's going to work. I don't. Do you have something like that, or what do you do? Just go by the seat of your pants?
We use SolidWorks. we use SolidWorks for all of our design stuff. We can size the bowl CC and everything that way, but we don't use it for anything to the extent of how the injector spray angle is going to leave the piston bowl or anything like that. Although we do have some of that stuff mocked up too in cylinder heads and injectors and things, but it's mostly the mechanical design versus fluid dynamics or anything to that level.
Right. Who does your fuel system and turbo work?
Hearts. Yeah, but Brandon's been real good to us there.
Yep. Cool. They do a good job down there too. Do you have one of them aftermarket block in it yet, or do you still have a stock block in it?
The gold truck has a factory block in it yet, and then the white truck has a Chaos aftermarket block.
All right. If you had them both to the dyno, do you see a difference in a much, or?
Yeah, I think a factory block that's perfectly round and good, I think, can make the same power. It's just keeping the cylinders round. It definitely seems like the solid block is that much more stable.
Okay.
More work for the sleeves and a lot thicker.
Yeah.
You guys don't run water in them either, do you?
No, the factory block is cement filled.
Yep, help make it stronger.
Yep.
I think a lot of, for those of you tuning in here to Down and Dirty, the diesels, for whatever reason, over the last, 6, 8 years, I guess, even into the tractors, a lot of them, rarely do you find somebody that runs water in them, but it's hard to make a second pass. But they make more power without the water in them for whatever reason that is, and it just seems like it works that way.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm not sure if they actually make more power without the water in the blocks or the water in the heads. It's more just the fill keeps them a little more stable, at least with these Cummins blocks. That helps keeps things a little more round and supports the sleeves a little better.
What do you fill in your block with? Do you fill it with cast iron, or do you fill it with epoxy?
A hard block usually.
It's hard block. Yeah. I mean, we used to fill some heads with cast iron, stock heads, but it just wouldn't seal up good in them. We had a hard time with that.
Yeah, if they crack, the filling up some of the back when we had factory heads or even the aftermarket Hamilton heads, that cast iron cracks really easy on those heads, and putting the fill in there doesn't really stop any of the cracking so much, but the fill in the block definitely helps. Now we've got solid ductile iron heads and they never crack. They're real stable with them, but messing around with some of the actual cast iron stuff, cracking was always an issue.
Yeah. Do you think if you're running stock stuff, you'd get a year out of it?
I don't know. I mean, we've gone to the dyno with a fresh factory head on and make a couple passes, and you come back and make a change, pull the head off, and there's already cracks going to the injector holes and stuff. So it's
so mostly not make a season with a head or stock head.
I mean, you can make a season, but it's probably not as good. That you'll get a little bit of leakage and stuff, but it'll still go down the track.
Yep. Do you move can you guys move the valves in your head and stuff and do different things like that or not? I don't know.
They're in factory location.
Yeah, I think they have to be, right? Or I don't remember.
I think they just have to be factory angle. I think you can shift them around a little bit, but with the Cummins have them in a pretty good spot for injector and cylinder size locations. So they're in factory spots.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the fans that are watching here tonight, we're talking about you guys machining and that. What do you guys both do for a living?
So I'm a manufacturing engineer.
I'm VP of manufacturing and engineering. We both work for Unisig deep hole drilling systems and automation. So they're one of our sponsors as well.
What kind of automation systems do you do?
Anything related to the deep hole drilling machines we sell. So the machines the deep hole drilling machines, we're in a variety of industries, anything from medical industry machines that do like the center holes down bone drills and stuff like that to government contracts. We're making howitzer barrels for the military. So kind of a wide variety, and in between oil and energy markets and automotive markets, all sorts of stuff. Anything that has a large diameter hole to deep depth ratio. And then the automation will do full robotic cells that auto load and unload the machines that we build.
Okay.
We make gun barrel cells where we have the drill, the reamer, and the rifling machine with a robot that feeds and moves parts through all of them and spits out gun barrels.
What got you started in that, or you just found a job out of school and that's the direction you went?
Yeah, I guess I started there almost 18 years ago now. I started out working in a machine shop in high school, and like machines, and learned how to program CNC machines and put myself through college doing that. And I guess I always kind of liked machine tools from there. And then shortly after college, I got started at Unisig, where building CNC machines and stuff kind of fit right into what I enjoyed.
That's cool.
I went
How
there
about you,
right out
Rob?
of high school. I went there right out of high school as a job, and then went through school. I got a 2-year associates in engineering. So, and worked in the engineering department for a while, and then transferred out to the shop floor to kind of help assemble and work that side of the plant. And I'm in a manufacturing engineer role there. Help out a lot with the scheduling and planning on the shop floor.
Okay.
Moses tractor pulling videos. Both trucks are badass. I'm a Chevy guy, but the Dodge, in my opinion, is way cooler. So, Moose's tractor pulling videos. So, if anybody has any comments for the guys or questions, don't be afraid to jump in and put them up there, and we'll definitely ask them. So, down and dirty with the Badger State tractor pullers tonight. We got the Corey and Ryan Funk with us with the Funkengruven and the Funkengruven, and I'm still 100% never slipped yet in the tractor pull.
Doing good.
So what what was your favorite win this year? Which one were you most proud of? It had to be close to the end there because it was right down to you and what?
And Jamie Large was
Large,
at our heels. So, I don't know. The favorite win probably was right in the middle of the season. That Darlington was a bittersweet one, that with the white truck being broke, and then ended up winning that one. That was pretty cool. And then the very next fall, we went to Freeport in the PPL night, and the gold truck ended up winning that night. So that was pretty fun. And the white truck took second there, so we were 1 and 2 on the Silver Series night. That was pretty cool.
That's a cool night. It is fun to win. Darlington's a fun one to win. It's one of my favorite places to pull, and you get down to the end, you did a good job because you can see the people in the beer stand jumping around or whatever, and you can hear the people there. It's one of the places that you can hear people cheering if you do good. I feel, I don't know if you guys have seen that or felt that or not, but I like it there.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite spots as well. Well, Well, and you got certain tracks where the trucks tend to just like them year after year, and Darlington is one of the spots that we have historically done pretty well at. So that combined with, like you said, the crowd and the atmosphere there is always makes it fun.
Yep. And they're still selling beer at 5:30 in the morning. It don't hurt. Good place. Yep. I don't think there's many places around to do that, but that's a fun one. But John, you want to ask him some of our regular questions?
So 2 trucks, and they're getting closer together, but you guys must trade a lot of information back and forth between you two. You know, say one pulls in front of the other. You know, hey, you know where we kind of figured to go wasn't the best. You know, it looks like it's a little better over there, or we need to change a gear quick. You guys exchange that information, able to do that quick enough for the second truck?
Yeah, definitely. We're always either, I mean, depending on what truck we're trying to place where, we're trying to pick or save a spot in the track for the other one. That towards the end of the year we definitely did that a lot, trying to keep the gold one up top, that we're either trying out a spot with the white one or saving a spot for it if we thought one spot was better. And then definitely changing a gear that it depends on how much time you have in between it, but there's a couple of holes throughout the year where we swapped a gear right after the first truck went, and one of them it paid off pretty good at Beaver Dam, or we ended up winning after we swapped a gear.
So how long does it take now? So if you guys both crawl under it with wrenches, how long does it take to change the gear? Kind of run through and explain what you do. So, you know, the people that are watching here tonight don't always, you know, we talk about it and I'm up there announcing you change a gear, you know, it's not that hard and whatever, but explain to them what it takes to change a gear in there. Cause it's not a regular transmission that's in there. So kind of explain that, would you?
So we have what's called a drop box in the trucks. It basically looks like a transfer case, a four-wheel drive transfer case, that similar shape, and it is the transfer case one, but there's a cover on the back side of that drop box, and there's probably about 8 or 10 bolts holding that cover on. Pull them bolts out quick and pop that cover off, and there's just literally 2 gears that you pull out and you swap with 2 different ones, and that changes your ratio, and put the cover on and you're good to go. So
It's probably about 5 minutes.
yeah, 5 to 10 minutes and you're done. And the floors are cut out of the truck too, so you don't even have to climb underneath it on your back. You can stand right over the top of it and do it.
And the oil is in the bottom part of the box, so you don't even really lose any oil when you do that, do you?
Yeah, it's low enough that it doesn't drain out the cover when you pull it. And then it's an O-ring.
O-ring on there seals it.
Yep.
Moose's tractor pulling videos ask, have you always been truck guys?
Well, I guess our dad first got us into pulling with tractors. That he was pulling way back in the early '80s, and had a Case Pro Stock tractor that he pulled in the '90s for a while, and then he got out of it. So we started out, I guess, in the tractor world, and we were out of pulling for a while until Brian and I decided we were going to build a truck to just kind of run around local stuff. That was kind of started out as just something fun to play with, and it's kind of escalated from there.
Is your dad's I pulled with your dad, not in the same class back then, but does he still have the tractor?
He's got the motor of it's pretty much what's left, and the tin work is still there. So the long block is there and the tin work, but that's about what's left right now.
If I remember right, he was one of the first guys I know to put in-floor heat in his shop. Am I right that way? Remembering that?
Yep. Yeah. He
Way back
built,
in the
built that
90s.
a long
Yeah.
time. It was sometime in the '90s that he did that.
Because I think he was on the board of directors when I started too, and we went there for a meeting. And I just remember he was building a new shop and he had in-floor heat in it. And I
Yep.
thought that was cool. Yep. That's changed a lot since then, I bet you. But it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah. That's one thing I remember about Tom, back then. I always remembered that for some reason.
Yeah, it wasn't really as common back then. Now I think it's pretty common to put in-floor heat in, but that was in the earlier days of it.
Yep.
I remember guys talking about that. Oh, what are you gonna do with the floor crack? Oh, water all over these ain't gonna be no good. And I never seen anybody that ever had that happen. So.
Well, I've heard of the guys that didn't put antifreeze in their water. It has happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that could go bad.
Yeah. Or enough antifreeze, Because I had a friend that put it on his sidewalks to melt all his driveway and sidewalks. So he never had to shovel it. And I don't think he put enough antifreeze in it because it froze and broke. But that was a long time ago, too, before people really, to the point where it is now. It's a lot better now. But back to the pulling subject. That's just what I remember about Tom, and then the case doing real well, and Lemke's helping him with the motor and stuff back then, and that tractor always ran pretty good back then.
Yeah, it was always a budget program, but yeah, I definitely remember the days when we ran around with Lemke's everywhere, and it was a lot of good times, and probably still helps us out from time to time today. So.
Yep, Redmer there. Greg Redmer had a case too, and I think pulled with you guys or hung around you guys too, didn't he?
Yep. Yeah, we helped him with his tractor a lot, and then towards the end, my dad put the motor out of his pro stock into the light super, which was where Redmer's was running at that time. So.
Yeah, his was the first tractor I ever seen that had the sign on it that said "Black smoke makes me horny." I think he made that up.
He may have been the originator.
I think he was. And if anybody knows Redmer knows that's probably honestly the truth.
It must be a case tractor guy thing. Just
Yeah.
Just like the one stiff competitor that's out there, the Viagra King.
Yep. Yeah. Somehow he's on them case guys' minds.
So how did you guys come up with Funkengruven for the first truck?
Well, you guys were, I was probably a little too young at that point, but they were building roll cages and some frames, and they kind of named it Funkengruven roll cages and frames, I think is what we can come up with. So.
Yep, I remember that. Yep.
So it just kind of fell in place on that truck when we were putting it together.
And then the second truck, you guys had like a big poll on Facebook. There's all kinds of people kicking out some good names on there. I think I might have pitched a couple on there too, but that turned out to be the good one on there too, Funkengruven. So that's pretty awesome.
Number 2 cool names. Yep.
Thanks.
Yep.
Hard on the announcers. Chuck Fowler says, are both chassis pretty much the same, just with different bodies?
Well, they're actually from the metal standpoint, they're completely different. The white truck's a Chevy cabin chassis truck is what that thing started out with. It was actually a 2-wheel drive cabin chassis is what the white truck frame originally was, and the Dodge is a 90s Dodge frame.
A second gen chassis on that one.
So the frames themselves are very different, but at this point we've kind of tried to make the hitches and a lot of the stuff that we feel matters between them similar, even though the metal looks different.
Yep. I have a feeling if you build them 2 exactly the same, they never act the same anyways, do they? I don't. And tractors, I don't think. Like I watched Tom Gallett's run his 2 tractors, built as identical as they can be, and they're different. So I imagine the same thing with trucks. If you build 2 identical, they would act different.
Yeah, we try and get them as close as we can. I mean, we scale all 4 corners of the trucks, and think we got them within 100 pounds on each corner of of the two trucks, so they're pretty similar that way. They're getting closer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So rear ends are solid, and the front ends. What do you guys have for a suspension in the front?
So they're an F106 axle is what they're built out of in the front, and with military outer knuckles, yeah. And then there's actually a 3-link in the gold truck, and then we have a 4-link set up in the front of the white one. Two shot or 4 shocks total, 2 per side.
Then you guys adjust them too. You want a certain height and certain weight for your transfer and such.
Yeah, the preload will affect how much front end lift you get, depending on how much spring preload you got set up on it or how much weight's in the front of the truck. So, obviously the higher the front end comes up in the air, the more hitch height you lose. So there can be a fine line between not losing that hitch height, and if it doesn't come up off the stops, it'll usually bounce real bad. So that's not good either.
So it's finding the happy medium in between that. So there's a huge science to that and getting them trucks to hook up.
And then tire pressure. What do you change if you think you're going to bounce a lot? Do you add more tire pressure? Do you take some away, or what do you do?
I don't know. We've played with that a lot, and I guess I can't say that we've found that there's anything with tire pressure that's helped our bounce when we've gotten in those spots. That it seems like it'll help it hook better if your contact patch isn't good. But when it comes to bouncing, we haven't been able to really tame it down with any tire pressure adjustments, it seems.
Yeah.
The main thing we look for with tire pressure is just to try and get a flat pattern. If we look at the holes at the end of the track, to try and get as flat contact patch as you can.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll see one of us out there on the track at the end of a run when the truck pulls off and looking in them holes, and that's usually what we're looking for, is see how that tire tread looks down in that hole, if it looks like it's hooking even or not.
Right.
Yeah.
The track can change that too, though. If it's a soft track, do you put a soft tire on it, or a hard track, you put a hard tire on it?
Yeah, I think both these trucks tend to like a hard track a lot. Well, trucks in general like a harder track than tractors typically do. I think it's just the smaller contact patch on the tire that what we think is probably the ideal track is too hard for most of the tractors. But certain setups still work good on those soft tracks, and I mean that's probably something we haven't figured out yet. It seems like the tracks we usually struggle. So
It's just with the tractor too. You struggle. We struggle on a hard track trying to figure it out, try to get into it.
yeah,
that's a struggle. Typically we say hard track, hard tire. I don't know if that holds true for trucks or not.
Yeah, I'd say that you can get away with a little more air pressure and have a good contact.
If you think if it's going to be a really good biting track, that's you guys have it's because that's what the tractor guys want. It's hard to build a track for both, and figure out where to put everybody and make it work. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Get the lineup, which classes are going first and who's going to follow who for what reason. A lot of times we can't do much because the promoter wants it a certain way, and you got to follow what he wants. He's paying the bill, but we try to get it so it's the best part of the night for each class, what it could be. Light pros, we don't want to get them on too much of a biting track because they can't, it's hard to put a good show on when they're bouncing all over. You don't want to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, for us, I think the main thing, the tracks vary from place to place and week to week. It's just kind of part of pulling. I think the biggest struggle with our class is when we got 10 trucks or so, when the tracks don't hold together, that there's a good amount of the hooks that we go to where getting that first draw is where you want to be. That that track may not hold together. That I think a lot of the wins throughout the year for a lot of the trucks that grab the win, it's that lucky first straw or one of those first straws, or even sometimes if somebody breaks ahead of you and doesn't spin out or make it full track, they'll get a second roll basically where the track's packed in a little tighter, and then the next truck after that will shine. So
Yep. If you will look at almost all the classes and you look at their placing and you look at the pull order, it's pretty close. It isn't always true to that, but it is close a lot of times, and a lot of them, if you look at that, it's too bad it has to be that way. But if you get on a good track, that changes it up a little bit. But if the tracks are a little questionable, that's usually how it goes.
Mm-hmm. And that's part of pulling too, is trying to figure out if there is another good spot on the track, or sometimes you gotta try something and move over where nobody's been. And I think we're probably about 50% on doing that. Sometimes you end up last, and sometimes it works. But
Hero or a zero. Yep.
Grayson,
so that's all part of it. It's fun. It's fun to go with. You guys got a bunch of good guys in your class. You have fun with them, I'm sure, and it is. It's fun to be out there doing it either way, right?
Yeah. It's nice to have a big class of really competitive trucks for sure.
Right. It's fun to be, when you win, when you're doing well, especially, it's fun to be in a big class, but you can be at the wrong end of it too in a big class. That's tough. I Bowling Green, when you go out there and they say there's 40 tractors in a class, I'm like, oh man, I don't want to go compete. My luck is that I'm going to be at the wrong end of that every time. But, I don't know. 12 seems to be a good number.
Yeah, I think that 10 to 12 makes a really good class for pulling, I think.
Troy Richard has only a few hooks. The winner came from the back of the pack this year, so he must be a fan that's been to a lot of the truck pulls, watching Badger tractor pullers with you guys run. And then there's another gentleman on there who's wanting to know when y'all's next Grayson Howery want to know when y'all's next pull gonna be. Are you guys done for the winter? Are you gonna go down to Georgia, or what are you doing?
I think our next pull will be whenever the first Badger State hook is that we're not going to go anywhere this winter. We wanted to do some updates and work on some other things. So it takes a lot of effort to go winter pulling too. There's a lot there by the time you freshen your motors and shortens that off season by a lot. So it makes it difficult.
Winter pulling is a lot of work.
It's a lot of fun, but it's definitely a lot of work.
Yep. Yeah.
Especially with that early, with like Chip Shawana in January, it doesn't leave you a lot of time to do a bunch of dyno work. And the last couple of years we've been going there, and just it's made it tough to get all the dynoing in that we've wanted to do. So we're hoping to get the motor pulled out of the weight truck this week here and get it on the dyno cart. And we got a lot of stuff that we're waiting to try. So
yeah. Got one question on here from somebody who says, where are y'all based out of?
Sure. We're out of Economowoc, Wisconsin. So
is the shop by one of your guys' houses, or
yeah, this is Corey's house. So
okay,
yeah,
that's where your shop. Okay, is it in town or outside town?
Are you just out of Stonebank actually? So we're
Mitch,
Carl Kahn at all?
Yeah, Carl's only 5 minutes up the road here.
Okay, I've been to Carl's place. Yeah.
Okay.
Mitch,
Carl stops in here every now and then.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. You got beer?
Yep.
Yeah. If he sees the lights on late, usually he's stopping.
We're in, Greg. We're in, Greg. They got beer. Mitch Foot says, do you guys have a favorite track or event you look forward to each year?
I like Beaver Dam a lot. I think it's close to our closest pull of the year, and a lot of family and friends come out to that one. So I'd say that's probably one of my favorites to go to. and always a giant crowd there as well.
Huge crowd.
Between Beaver Dam and Darlington, like we talked about, are probably my favorites.
All right. One of the new questions on the Badger State voting thing at the end of the year about favorite driver and favorite pull and all that stuff is going to be the favorite meal of the year. What was your favorite meal of puller sponsored so far this or last year?
I think Darlington always has a good meal there to put on.
Yeah.
I think the
Beaver Dam's always good.
Baraboo,
Beaver Dam. Chris Feller puts the steak sandwiches on there. They're pretty good there too, aren't they?
Yeah.
No.
That's a tough one.
Yep.
That's a tough one. Tough question. Hardest one is the food.
It is. Yeah, the food. You're other than the puller's meal. Which fair do you have? Where do you like to get something to eat? You know you're going to that fair, and you want to go get a cheeseburger at this booth or cheese curds or something like that. Which one's your favorite to do that at?
I always like the Utica cheese curds because it's kind of a staple there for me.
Yeah.
Well, anywhere I can go get a gyro, usually that's usually my go-to once we're done pulling. Usually when we get there, I'm kind of wound up and don't like eating before we pull, but afterwards,
Find something to eat. Maybe a beer tent. Utica beer tent is usually a pretty good time too, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, usually.
Stick around for that. Yeah.
Good entertainment. The Stoughton FFA alumni are the ones that cook the cheese curds there that you're talking about, Ryan. And that's they go to Dane County Fair and they're at Stoughton Setting of Eye and Stoughton Fair, and they sell a lot of cheese curds throughout the summer.
Yeah.
They're good.
I don't know if you watch my kids do a video thing, and they did a cheese curd review this year of every pull we went to. They went and bought cheese curds, and I don't know which one won. Jefferson, I know, was one of their favorite at the time, but I don't know which one ended up winning it. So they bring them all back to the trailer, and everybody takes a bite, and they say, we rate them. It's on their website. I don't know what ended up winning, but it's fun to do. It's stuff like that. So my favorite gyros is always an Elkhorn. If you like gyros, I don't know if you went to the Elkhorn gyro booth there and got them. They were always good too.
Yeah, those were good ones.
Yep. So you've been there.
Yep.
Yep.
Most
Yep.
tractor pull videos, he asked another one here. He says, "Would love to see you put a big turbo on and come to Toma."
Yeah, we'd like to go to Toma.
Yeah, it's definitely an event that would be fun to go to. It's on the list. We've had a big turbo on the white truck during the COVID year. We had one on and ran around to like Rockwell, Iowa. We went to Farley, Iowa. There's a couple super stock ones that we hit. So, seems like we brought a lot of stuff that year.
What'd you put
So
on?
when you put a big turbo on, how big is it?
So that one was a 4.8 inch
Right.
turbo.
Yes, it was actually we bought it from Cartwright's before they changed the rule in Light Pro, and them guys had to put the smaller backside on. So
Yeah.
it was the one they had to get rid of when the rule change happened. So
Yep. Well, that's a lot of turbo to spin with the cubes you're running, right?
yeah, we're
Yeah.
390 cubes,
Yeah.
but it's actually surprising how easy it spools it.
Oh, really? Yeah. Do you tighten up the housing at all though? From like they had it on a 540, I believe, right?
Yep. No, we ran it exactly how they had it on the tractor, and it probably takes, I don't know, about 4,600 RPM to get it spooled up good, 46, 4,700, but once it spools, it's all there.
Was it fun to drive it then?
Yeah, you can tell it made more power.
Where did you pull it when you put that on?
So Rockwell, Iowa, Farley, Iowa, and we go somewhere else with it. I think we went
I'm trying to think where else.
We went one other place with it that year.
So what
So when you-
RPM do you guys run for the fans to know there? And we talk about that some as, you know, as announcers, we kind of touch on the outline of it a little bit, but where do you guys kind of want to come out? Where's the honey spot that your truck likes, and, you know, how high RPM they usually go up to, and where do they pull down into? And if it's too critical that you don't want people to know, then just make it a wide range.
We try and come out of the hole around low fours and try and get it to hook up there and then feed into it slowly, and they'll run between 48 and 56 down the middle of the track, and then hopefully if it hooks up at the end, it brings it down a little bit again down in the mid. If it brings it down in the mid fours, then it's probably a pretty good hook. So it's spin a lot of RPM. They'll spin close to 6.
When do you know you have a good hook going? Do you know by 100 feet if you've got a good one going?
Yeah, usually you can, if you're watching the tack a little bit, you can see where if it doesn't spike, you know it's hooked up and you're moving.
Yeah, the 100-foot mark, when you finally give it full throttle, if the RPM doesn't pick up much at that point, it's probably going to be a winning pass.
You know you're hooked in and going then, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you guys think has been the key to your success in the last couple of years? Because, you know, be consistent and to win 2 points championships back to back, 2 different trucks, and the class you guys run in is tough. There's not a slouch in the group. I mean, you don't go to a poll and go, "Wow, this is cakewalk. We're gonna, you know, blow by these guys." That don't ever happen in Badger State. You guys are getting closer and closer and closer every year. But what's the key for you guys?
Yeah, it's a super competitive group of trucks that we have. I'd say it's arguably the toughest group in the country up here, or at least the most amount of them for sure. But I don't know. I'd say we do analyze the details a lot. That we're constantly logging everything and we take notes, really good notes about what each truck did, and try and document that. And it's kind of a full year effort that throughout the winter we're trying to do a lot of things in the dyno, try and test parts out and see, make more power, and then analyzing the chassis too, and trying little tweaks and testing out on one, and then moving forward on the other one with that. So, and then I do think during the year, even on the track, just paying attention to the track is a huge part of it as well. That you gotta move around to and analyze that track the best you can. You can't just stay in one spot. So.
Whose dyno do you go to, or do you have your own, or
We go by Kevin.
Kevin? Yep.
Dyno.
He's about the best help around at a dyno, I think, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, you learn a lot, and it's always a fun time when you go down there. So.
Yep. Until you break something.
Yeah. So some days
didn't
don't go as good as others, but.
Yeah. It's fun.
So one of the questions on here, he says, "I'm not as knowledgeable with the trucks. What takes a truck so long to get full throttle and get hooked up, and what makes them bounce so much?"
I think it's just the small tires, that there's not a bunch of weight to transfer like the tractor, so it just takes some finesse to get them out of the hole and get them moving. That if you just pegged it out of the gate with the trucks, that they usually just pile up dirt, and then you're pulling that much more in front of the buckboard and the sled. So
I think some of the bounce comes from it, you know, leaving the line. If the tires are spinning way faster than what the sled's moving, them back tires are actually going to start digging a hole and dropping down, and you're losing all that hitch height, and eventually they end up just kind of popping up out of that hole, and then they kind of get that over and over again. So That's why it takes so long to go full throttle is you don't want to just dig down in them holes right off the bat. You want to get it moving closer to your tire speed, your ground speed and your tire speed to match.
Okay. One question I have too is, tractor tires have evolved into craziness, and there's like 3 or 4 different brands you can buy now. Do you guys have a lot of different options in tires, and have they changed a lot over the years?
They're not like the tractor tires have. I mean, we're still running our original set on the white truck that we bought. So that's 5 or 6 years that we've been running that same tire, just sharpening them. So I don't think there's as much of a evolution on the tires in the truck world. There's only basically two different manufacturers that people are running for them currently.
There's different that you can get, but most people are running a similar setup from the tire ply and then the other 2 manufacturers.
Yeah. So how many ply tires do you run?
So we have a 6 ply on the back and a 5 ply up front.
Okay. Is that what most guys do?
Most of them.
know.
Some guys will run 4 ply and 5 ply, but I'd say it's most common to see the 5 and 6s.
Okay. Who's the manufacturer of your guys' tires?
So Nichols.
Nichols. Yep.
Russ
So,
Nichols, Mayhill makes the other ones, I think.
Yep.
if you one of our standard questions is, if you could drive something in pulling and you just got to hop on and drive and didn't care if you broke it or whatever, just got to go down the track once, what would you drive?
I think I'd pick a pro stock tractor. I don't know if I mean, I guess if I was gonna pick one, maybe Kevin Masterson's, the River Rat. So that one seems pretty hot this year.
Yep, that one is a hot one.
That's
That was Ryan. Which one would you drive? Was that you, Ryan?
Yeah, that was me.
Or Corey?
I'd probably maybe Ross's triple bypass super.
That's another good one too. Them would be fun ones to drive. Yep. So I think we got everything covered here, John. What do you think?
Yeah, we're getting pretty close to our time too. So if anybody's got any last quick questions for the Funk guys here, let's throw them up there and we'll ask them. And you guys do your motor work and K3 Tire does. Is anybody else you'd like to thank that helps you out, or sponsors or family or friends that come along or someone special at all? Who'd you guys like to thank to help your whole program out?
I mean, I guess first of all, our wives that take care of the kids and support us through this. It's definitely a lot to do and support. It's not always the easiest thing, but to them, and we have a good group of friends that come along that it's not always easy to move around the 2 trucks. So it's a group of friends and family that come along and support us that way. We always seem to have a good crowd, which makes it fun. Golden Harvest Seeds, they're one of our sponsors. And Unisig Deep Hole Drilling Systems, they sponsor us as well. And Deer Run Seeds. So,
Do you guys do most of the work on your trucks yourselves, or do you have friends come over and help out, or do you have some guys that just are there all the time to help?
I'd say for the most part, just the 2 of us, and Dad will come along and help out on some stuff, or he does a lot of running around for us, pick up parts and pieces and stuff.
Yeah,
Is he retired?
Yeah, just as of about Labor Day, I think. So.
Oh, you got more help. There all the time. Yep.
We have some friends that come and help us too. That are our one friend is a really great welder that can definitely tell anything that he welded on the trucks is a work of art. So
That helps. Yep.
Don't forget Mom. She's like a big cheerleader in the whole
Yep.
team. she's always cheering, boy, and all revved up when you guys go. And that's fun to see. That's fun to see that, you know, family is just as excited.
Yeah, Vicky's always amped up. She takes videos for us at every hook, so we get to analyze those videos and stuff. And she's always there to help and drink some beer afterwards and have fun.
Yeah, that's what it's about. But I guess I don't have anything else. So, anybody else send any questions in? I really can't read them on my phone here, but if you see anything, John?
Nope, there's nothing that's come up yet. But any last things you guys like to chat about? Congratulations on the points championship, and can't wait to see you guys up in the Dells.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
It's always a good
Anybody?
looking forward to
Yep.
it.
Anybody that's watching, there's only a few rooms left in the Dells. If you haven't gotten your room yet, get it. They're going to be gone, and we cannot get any more. We took everything they had. So
And those that still have tickets out there to the Badger State Tractor Pullers, or you guys have your tickets, we need to get them in, and Jack Spots is waiting to get them in and get that all dialed up. So anybody got last ticket sales, kind of get that rounded up and get that in the Jack as soon as you could. I know he wants to get that dialed up and finished up. And we'd like to thank the great sponsors of Farm Street Toys, the casters that help us out, Casper Egg, Trip Downing and his farm, Slama Enterprises for helping out with the Down and Dirty show. And it's great having you guys on in back-to-back points championships, 22 and 23. Congratulations once again.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for coming on the show, too, guys, and thanks for everybody watching. And hope you have a good winter here and find some. I'm sure you're going to do some R&D and find something, right?
Yeah, hopefully that's the goal at least. It doesn't always happen, but
Hopefully, don't go backwards.
yeah.
It's easier to go backwards than forwards at this point, that's for sure.
It is. When you're on top, it's always hard to find more. Yep.
Yep.
So
Now you got bullseyes on both trucks now, not just one.
right.
So it'll be hard. All the guys doing the same thing, but
Yeah,
But
hopefully
again,
we can make a few changes, and the gold truck isn't hooking quite as good as the white one right now, so we're gonna try to mess around with that a little bit, and but nothing too major.
right, get that figured out. Yep. Hopefully you do. 1 and 2 would be cool, right?
It's a goal at least.
Yep. We're tied for first. You have to have a pull off at the last event. That'd be fun. So thanks for coming on, guys, and appreciate everything you did, and hope to see you soon at the banquet.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you there.
Thank you.